Hello, Aries. How are you? Today is July 13th, and I'm here to do your weekly reading. Let me move this. I'm using my microphone because I noticed the audio was a little wonky because of the table shuffling last time. So, I hope you guys are doing well. I have like a little beachside setup going on here. This week will be astrologically relatively quiet for the most part. However, on Monday, we do have Mars conjunct Uranus, which is not a nice placement. Now, it can kind of go either way. It's like, let's say both fire and electricity are supercharged, right? So that could mean like you make tremendous tremendous insights or action or leap forward. It can also, be like electrical fires. So we'll have to see what happens. And then I can't believe we have another full week of Cancer season. This has been endless. Cancer season with Mars and Taurus I think it's a no for me. And then next Sunday on the 20th, finally Mars will move into Gemini and things will pick up a little bit. So we have one more week to sort of plod through here. And then hopefully some energies will start. You should feel a little bit lighter. And then, of course, after that on the 22nd, the sun moves into Leo and we should have some good energy. Okay, so the overall energy for the week is this card, the Soul Retrieval. Let's see what the book has to say about that. Okay, soul retrieval is, is a practice that helps you recover a part of yourself, your energy, your enthusiasm, or your innocence that you have lost. At first, we'll use soul retrieval to recover from our hurts and heal our childhood wounds. Later, we learn to journey to recover our original nature, that self who never left the Garden of Eden, who still speaks to the rivers, to the trees, and to God. When we return to Eden, we are whole again. And it says, you are no longer fragmented. You are one with creation. You have healed the cause of the pain you feel. So that's good. You do not need to dwell on it any longer. Really, it's true. If you are still hovering over an old wound, find a new flight path. Don't be distracted with the little stuff you've already mastered. Go for the big one. And here it says the medicine, when did you compromise what you truly believed in order to be loved or accepted? Think back over your life and find the time or times when this happened. Vow never to compromise your integrity again. What have you agreed to in the name of love that you know is deeply wrong? Make it right this instant. And that's really about giving up like what you want or what's good for you for someone else, or to make other people around you happy, sacrificing your wants and needs for someone else's. And that creates really a psychological fork, let's say, in your subconscious, because on one side you're like, I know I want this, and then on the other side you're saying, but you can't have it because we have to do this. So it develops a sense of mistrust with yourself, right? Because you can't be quote unquote trusted to give yourself what you need and want. And so there's like this, that's kind of like where indecision comes from, or that feeling stuck, is because you haven't solidified and strengthened your sense of, I want this, this is what's good for me, this is what I'm going to do. And that's what he was talking about, kind of like that wholeness, becoming whole, is that knowing what's good for you, knowing to act on what's good for you, and knowing to take care of yourself and be good to yourself. Now, what's the challenge for this week of July 13th? This deck I've been shuffling for a long time. It doesn't want to come out. Let's see. Is no challenges. We'll take a no challenge week. Can I get the challenge for week of July 13th, please? I am actually at the beach, but I'm heading back to the city tomorrow because my daughter and I have tickets to see Taylor Swift again. So our last sort of big activity before she leaves. Oh my God, what is up? I may have to just pull one. All right, challenge for the week of, okay, there we go. All right, so we have the Strength card and the Six of Cups. Now that is very interesting because it was talking about the past, right? And the Six of Cups is nostalgia, childhood, and there's an offering in there. There's somebody giving someone a cup, right? And then it talks about strength and being, like putting rationality over emotion, but also just having kind of, I don't know if it's like the strength to look back at your past or strength to heal it, strength to go back to it and make it whole again, right? That like there's a sense that you may be having a hard time looking at the past or hard time dealing with the past, hard time letting go of the past. But that's kind of where this wholeness is, right? There's a wound that needs to be healed in the past. And it's kind of saying like, because the Strength card came out also last week. It's kind of saying like, you've got this, like you can do it. You have accomplished so much since whatever that was happened, that you now have everything that you need to be able to go back and look that in the eye. So like, don't be afraid to do that. All right, let's get the lesson, please, for the week of July 13th. What do we have here? The path. And I think that's what the guy said, if you can't, what did he say about the flight path? I thought that was really interesting. If you're still hovering over an old wound, find a new flight path. And I think this has already come out like once or twice, which is weird because I haven't used this deck that much. Sometimes we want answers that are more immediate, but the only solution is to keep moving, stay strong, and keep your head held high. The path tells us to continue placing one foot in front of the other, and all matters will resolve themselves. Yeah, so if like the past is coming up to, rear its ugly head, or there's some situation you can't stop thinking about, this is telling you that you can leave it where it is and to really focus on what's in front of you. To take because you're kind of like fragmented now, right? You have one foot in the past and one foot in the future. Right. So if you're going through like a career change, or you're moving cities, or, some sort of relationship thing, you can't be in two places energetically at the same time, right? That's the fragmentation that it's talking about in the soul retrieval. And so it's really saying to put this, to have the strength to put whatever, to release whatever has happened up until now, and to really keep your eyes focused on taking one step at a time, even if you don't necessarily know exactly where it's going to lead, right? The past can sometimes be more comfortable because we know more or less how things are going to turn out, right? Or how things turned out. The future is worrying because we don't have any answers. And so it can feel more comfortable, Six of Cups, to stay where we are, even when the universe is kind of really trying to pull us kicking and screaming forward, except that it's creating a sense of fragmentation in your energy, which may also be, all right, that's 4, which may also be why things aren't progressing. Okay, so we have the Fool. We have the Emperor. Jesus. The 10 of Pentacles. And the Tower. So I would just like you to notice in 4 cards, 3 of them are major arcana. 3 of the cards are fabulous. One is a challenge. Now, this is definitely that Mars Uranus energy, right? Shakeup. There is a shakeup. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. If you have a situation that you're like really stuck in the past, maybe something steps in to make it impossible for you to go back there, which is fine because you have the Fool, all about new beginnings. You have the Emperor, which is you, right? Then the whole thing has been like, you have the strength to do this. Like, you've got this. That is the very strong message that's coming out of here is like, you've got this, you can do it. And then you have this 10 of Pentacles here. So, amazing cards. There is a Tower right at the end, right in the middle. It comes along with it. And so maybe what it is that like, it's all one package here. You want the new beginning, the leveling up, the mastery, getting that 10 of coins, then some shit is going to have to change, and it's going to have to change radically. It's like you have to leave the city you're in to move into another city. That's just it. Like, you can't get the new beginning unless you blow up, literally and or figuratively, where you were beforehand. So I have a feeling that this week could bring in, some radical changes. Remember I told you this is the lightning, right? It's the fire and lightning here coming in. So a little bit of a shakeup. Someone may make like a very sudden decision. It may seem like a sudden decision, but whatever it is, it comes with goodness, right? There's a saying in Italian, which is non tutto il male viene a nuocere. I think that's how it goes. My Italian which is ridiculous because I live here, but it's gotten all badly. But it means like, not all that is bad comes to harm you. Sometimes we classify as bad things that we don't want, but it doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just not what we had in mind. But they're doing things to shake up pieces, to shake up energy, to put us in a different space. And this says to me very clearly that we're like in two minds about something, a little bit attached to the past, a little timid, trepidatious about the future. But in order to deliver this Fool, the Emperor, and the 10 of coins, we have to commit, right? Strength here. We have to commit to walking the steps of the future. So this is very much about releasing the past, and and if we don't do it comfortably, then the universe steps in to remove. I think I told you this story, like in 2015, I was like hemming and hawing. I had an amazing, amazing, amazing job. I loved it to death. For my own personal reasons, I was like, I think I need to evolve out of this role. But I loved the people I worked for. I loved the people I worked with. I loved the things I was doing. Well, lo and behold, in August, I'll turn this on in a second. In August of that year, like, I had gone on vacation, like happy as a little clam, blah, blah, blah. And in the newspaper, it comes out that my CEO was dismissed, right? And I work for people. I don't work for companies. I knew the person that was going to come in and take his job, and we were not going to get along. And so the universe stepped in while I was hemming and hawing about like, no, I don't know if this is what I should be doing. It's so comfortable here. I love this job. And the universe was like, okay, great. Well, the job you thought you loved doesn't exist anymore. So, you can go back to it, but it's not going to be the same. And that, and I left the company, and that's what, put me on my next path. So it can do things like that. So we have the Truth card here. Let's take a look at this. It says, be honest, not only with others, but also with yourself. It's time to face facts. Otherwise, the truth may be revealed in a way you may not wish it to be, right? That's kind of like what I said, like what we don't do gracefully for ourselves, the universe steps in and does a little bit more brusquely. For the truth will come out, it always does. Better that you confess sooner rather than later in order to avoid a bigger confrontation than you can handle. Remember that when you keep the truth from others or speak untruthfully, your energy lowers and your light fades. It's time to release the heavy burden of secrecy. However, if you have been deliberately misled, remember that no one deserves to be in your life if they think that you aren't worthy enough to be told the truth. Let the truth set you free. And then the messages here are check in with and trust your intuition. Someone is hiding something from you. Please don't let that make you feel paranoid. Admit the truth before someone else does. Live and speak your truth, right? So maybe there's like some sort of past confession or something, or past situation that you've never spoken about that needs airing out in order to be released. Like, what is it? Speak truth to power. But again, these cards here are great. It's asking you to move forward. There is something in the past that needs to be released. And maybe the truth is simply just saying, you know what, I am kind of still in love with that person, even though I keep saying I'm not. Like, be honest with yourself first and foremost. And really do focus your intentions on leaving the past exactly where it is and taking the steps towards your future. Okay. Hope this was helpful. Wish you a lovely week. I will see you next Saturday. Take care.